guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am so glad you're here. If you guys are not following me already, make sure that you follow me on TikTok at Taco Bell Rockstar, on Instagram at Ellen Marie Life, and then make sure to like and subscribe this video too so you keep seeing all of my videos. Okay, so if you guys follow me on TikTok and on Instagram, you know that I recently left my full-time retail job. I've been in retail for about 7 years full-time. So this was a really, really big life decision for me, and I kind of want to talk about why I ultimately decided to leave my full-time job to become a content creator, even though I fully realize that I am not the biggest creator out there. So let's talk about it. To fully understand why I left my full-time retail job, you gotta rewind a little bit to really figure it out, okay? So let me kind of tell you some backstory first. Before I talk about why I left my full-time retail job, I kind of have to explain why I got into retail in the first place. In May of 2015, I had a transplant. Before that transplant, kidney transplant by the way, before that transplant, I was on dialysis for 2 years. That's a really long time to be on dialysis, just in general. It sucks. So before going on dialysis, essentially what led up to me being on dialysis was going into transplant rejection. So I had already had one kidney transplant and it was rejecting. I was a sophomore in college, and at that point, things were getting so bad that I had to drop out of school to be on dialysis, receive full-time care basically, move back home. It was traumatic and incredibly life-altering. I had planned to do just what all of my friends had done, graduate college, have a career, start my life, and that did not happen that way. My life was completely put on halt. I was at dialysis every other day for about 5 hours a day. My life was just in shambles. I was in shambles. Everything was chaos. And honestly, it was probably the worst period of my entire life. But now let's flash forward a little bit. So at this point, this was basically the worst period of my life. At the time I was 23, and I had had more surgeries than years that I was alive at that point. Things were really, really bad. Mentally, physically, things were terrible. But then I got the call that I had a kidney donor, and my life completely changed. And when I tell you that it completely changed, it 100% did a 180. And I felt like I had another chance to live. And that was a huge moment, a huge moment. So what happened from there was I spent the next several months recovering at home. I lived with my parents. They were taking care of me, and I am so grateful for that. But eventually I was like, you know what? I feel like the only way that I'm going to start getting healthier and feeling healthier is if I get back out into the world. And I really hadn't had a full-time job up until this point. But I was like, you know what? I have an old connection that works at Pink at the Mall of America. I'm going to see if they're hiring. So that's what I did. And that is when I jumped into retail again for the next 7 years. That was the start of the next 7 years of my life, whether I really knew it or not at that point. So for the next I would say 6 months or so, I just worked part-time. I was a bra specialist at Pink, which was so much fun, honestly. That probably was some of the most fun that I had working in retail, was when it was part-time just for fun. But eventually I kind of had this click moment where I was like, I really like working in retail actually, and I'm really good at it, and I can talk to people, and I'm great at my job, and I'm also really good at leading other people, and I like leading other people. So this 6-month part-time gig turned into me really jumping into retail and taking it on full-time. So from that point, I moved from a bra specialist up to a part-time staffing supervisor, and at that point worked myself into more full-time management positions. From there, after Pink, I then went to American Eagle, which a lot of you know the story of. I'm not going to go into it. If you guys want to see more on that, definitely let me know. Maybe I can do a story time, or check out my TikTok. I've got a whole playlist pinned with all of the American Eagle stuff. But so that was the next journey for me. And after all of my trials and tribulations at American Eagle, I ended up going to Target as a team lead. So for the next 7 years, I just, was transitioning through different jobs, different management positions, until I got to Target. Sidebar, while I was working in retail, I discovered TikTok during the pandemic, and I loved it. I loved the connection that I was able to create with the audience, and I really rolled with it. I started making videos, a lot of which were about my job and retail and things that people who work in retail can absolutely relate to. And from that point, I realized as much as I love working in retail, this is also something that I really, really enjoy. And so I just kept doing it and people kept loving it. So it kept growing to a point where I really, really thought like this could be something for me. But it didn't ever feel real because I never thought that people cared enough about me or wanted to watch me. And then I started doing it for myself because I just really loved it. And that is when I saw the change. That's when I saw that people cared because they could tell that it was genuine. So when I eventually chose to leave one of the jobs that wasn't super supportive of my social media career, I really decided that I am going to be true to myself. I'm not going to let another job bring me down for something that I really believe in and that a lot of other people really believe in. And so from that point, I decided, yes, retail right now is my full-time job, but I am going to give content creation everything that I have. And I did. And I started making content that I really loved and that was genuine and that people loved. And it took off. And I honestly could not be more grateful. And I say that like with the fullest heart that I possibly could, because not everyone gets this opportunity, and I am fully aware of that. So I'm so grateful that that this has become an opportunity for me, and then I get to share this with you guys. A lot of people have asked, like, you know, what are you gonna do to make money? Like, why are you leaving your full-time job that has a consistent paycheck to do content creation that might not give you that same consistent paycheck? And I'm gonna tell you why right now. The biggest reason, and yes, financial things are also a big reason, but the biggest reason that I chose to leave my job to do content creation full-time is because my job, or a job, will always be there. There was a period in my life when I was on dialysis that I truly thought I was dying. And like, it's hard to say those words right now, but I told myself at that point that I am never ever again going to take my life for granted. I lived so long being sick and sad and miserable. I dropped out of college and I missed out on such a huge part of my life that I just told myself, I deserve this. I deserve to be happy. And as much as I want a consistent paycheck, I also believe that happiness can sometimes pay you far more than a paycheck can. And I decided it was time to invest in myself and my happiness. And that's really, truly why I did it. Because I can get a part-time job or do a side gig or whatever and make additional money. But at the end of the day, if I'm truly happy and making other people happy, to me, that is what matters. Because when I look back on my life, I'm not going to regret not working in retail. You know what I mean? It'll always be there. But I would regret not taking this opportunity to create content and make people laugh and make people smile. So ultimately, that is why I chose to leave my full-time job. Just a reminder that you are worth taking a chance on. Just because it might not be the same situation that I'm in, it might not be that you want to leave your job to create content or something like that, but you are worth investing in. So just remember that if you're ever doubting yourself, you are your biggest supporter and you are so worth it. Alright, you guys, that's it for this time. If you have content suggestions or things that you want to ask or videos that you want me to create, definitely let me know down below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and I can't wait to see you guys next time.